Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM player.
Sean Parker along with Nick Eilerson.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to pick it out of the board. And they score!
Good evening and welcome to the PrepZone at DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Darcy Tharp, your host for the evening. Joining me is Nick Eilerson from the Washington Post and Brandon Roth from DMV Elite. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. So we have a fantastic show for you today, as always. We are going to take a couple looks at some championship games coming up. We have the Virginia 6A North Region Boys and Girls Championships, and we're also going to take a look at the MAC Championships. And we also will preview the Maryland Private School Tournament, and our Tyler Burum sits down with the Lacrosse Sports Network. Where can you watch us? You can watch us at Fairfax Public Access Channel 10 or online at DMVSTREAM.com. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, it will be time for the Weekend Rewind. But first, let's take a look at DMVSTREAM.com upcoming Nova Challenge at Marshall High School on April 10th.
It's the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge. The third annual installment of Northern Virginia's premier All-Star Basketball Showcase event is expanding. This year's April 10th event will welcome the top seniors from Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, Prince William, and the city of Alexandria for an action-packed day. In addition to the two All-Star games, the area's best public school basketball players will compete in a dunk contest and a three-point contest. Underclassmen will also have access to a developmental clinic hosted by our friends at Evolution Basketball. Now, not only has this year's event grown from one game to two, but by becoming the title sponsor of this event, DMVSTREAM.com will be providing you, the viewers and fans, the exceptional, state-of-the-art coverage you've come to expect from us. As the Mid-Atlantic's #1 source for live sports broadcasting, well, DMVSTREAM.com, we're going to broadcast this year's event live to computers, tablets, mobile devices, and we'll also make the replays available on demand on the internet, as well as our relationships with local cable television access channels. DMVSTREAM.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournament organizations throughout the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, the Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBSSports.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, Georgetown University, among others, Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVSTREAM.com has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of multimedia. Now, the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge, featuring Nova's premier basketball players on April 10th. You can find out more about that at DMVSTREAM.com and NovaChallenge.com. We'll see you there.
And welcome back to the Prep Zone. Darcy Tharp here with Nick Eilerson and Brandon Roth. It is time for the Weekend Rewind. Our first recap is Virginia 6A North Region Boys Championship, in which Battlefield faced off against Westfield. It's only a 5-point game, Nick.
That's right. It was a good game. Nice back and forth game. We got Battlefield coming in to the region championship. I don't know if a lot of teams saw that coming, but Westfield, of course, the heavy favorite in the 6A North Region, the defending champions, coming in fully expecting to win this game. Back and forth battle, and Battlefield goes on to win it 77-72, like you said, no pun intended there. Yeah, it was just, like I said, a back and forth game. Battlefield really did a good job down the stretch, paying its free throws, maintaining a nice cushion, hitting 12 of their last 14 from the foul line. So it was a good performance to finish it off from Battlefield. This was their first region championship. They're playing really good basketball right now in this postseason. 9 straight wins for this Bobcats team. We've really got it going ever since that 65-64 overtime loss to Stonewall that started off February. They've just really come on strong, and they've relied on, they kind of flexed their depth against Westfield. They've really got a lot of guys who could put it on the floor and fill it up. Westfield kind of relies a little bit heavily on a couple guys. Obviously, Tyler Scanlon did Tyler Scanlon things in this one. He had 32 points, just another night for him. But between him and Blake Francis, that's probably the best duo in the region. But they just weren't quite able to get it done against the Battlefield team that has a lot of guys who really do a good job defending. And so Westfield was also a little bit tired after their semifinal win against West Springfield, which was an overtime game, so the 2 days before that might have hurt them a little bit. Colin Parker for Battlefield, the senior guard, as you can see, had a nice game, led Battlefield with 18 points. 6 for 8 from the line. That's not a statistic that's going to blow you away, but those 6 free throws were very crucial down the stretch to make sure that they iced the win against Westfield there. So good performance from the Bobcats.
Well, fantastic victory for them with their 9th straight win.
Yeah.
Moving on to game report number 2, we have the MAC Championship, St. James versus Sidwell. Brandon?
Yeah, you saw an unusual face in the MAC Championship this year. A Sidwell Friends was in it. You haven't seen that since Josh Hart was starring in this area. But St. James came out early in the first half, and they were really strong in the paint. Bryce Golden absolutely dominated a couple breakaway dunks, as you see here. Really set the momentum for St. James in that first half. And his brother Grant Golden, they're actually twins, came in, and he also complimented Bryce. He's a power forward, and Bryce is the small forward, so it's definitely a duo there that they got going. They got a little chemistry. So the second half, Jelani Williams, he really came through and got close to tying the game up for St. James, but in the end, St. James was a little too much in the paint, and they claimed the IPSL championship and the MAC championship, so they ended the season the way they hoped to. That's what they worked for all year.
Well, who would have known that Grant broke his ankle last season? He's playing so well. The Golden Boys living up to their name. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will recap the Girls Championship. But first, let's take a behind-the-scenes look at DMVSTREAM.com 2016 WCAC Championship.
Two longtime rivals collide tonight here at American University as the top-seeded St. John's Cadets face the second-seeded DeMatha Stags in the WCAC Championship. Hello, basketball fans. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by the big man, Junior Burrow, the former UVA star. And Junior, you gotta love it. Tonight we've got one heck of a matchup. You look down the list, not a lot separates these teams. Try to give the foul. Referees don't call it. And fittingly, Cowan's going to dribble it out. And you see him come on the court as St. John's is your 2016 WCAC champions. And they get the win as Anthony Cowan goes off by himself. He deserves it, gets the game ball. He wanted nothing to do with that scrum. He just has to be out there holding that ball.
Hey, easy out there. Goodness gracious.
And welcome back to the Prep Zone. Darcy Tharp here with Brandon Roth and Nick Eilerson. We are going to continue our weekend recap, and we now have the girls Virginia 6A North Region Championship. Nick?
Yeah. Got Fairfax against Oakton. Oakton, the defending champions, undefeated, looking really, really good this year. We got a lot of good seniors and juniors on that team. So Fairfax had its hands full going into this one. And you know, this at first looked like it was going to be an Oakton blowout. You know, it was just going to be Oakton cruising to yet another win here, and they ended up winning. But it got very close there in the second half. To start the game, Oakton hit 4 threes in a row. It actually got Coach Fred Priester a little bit worried because he said after the game, once we did that, I knew we couldn't sustain that, so I was a little bit concerned if we could keep up that kind of offensive production. And it turns out he was right. They went 10 minutes without scoring a single bucket, the whole third quarter without scoring. It was very hard to watch if you're a guy who likes watching some good offense. So Fairfax did a really good job of kind of flustering Oakton with its signature full court press, very frenetic style of defense. It kind of flustered Oakton, and Oakton suffered from Maddie Royal being on the bench for much of the third quarter, so that also contributed to that scoring drought. But Delaney Connolly had a nice layup that sparked a 26-point fourth quarter. So, they go from scoring 26 points in 3 quarters to 26 or so to 26 points in the fourth. It's just ridiculous turnaround there, and ended up winning by 10 points. So Oakton defends its title, stays unbeaten. Maddie Royal, like I said, a nice game. She's got 20 points, had 4 trays. So this was a nice win for Oakton to defend its title.
Well, Oakton continuing their dominance. That's 17 championships for Oakton,
Yeah, they're a
and
juggernaut. 3
in a row, and all under Fred Priester. Coach has been there 22 years, which speaks to his dominance and ability as a head coach. And I just wanted to point out Alex Marquis, who was the Concord Player of the Year.
Yeah, really good player.
And for good reason. She made 56 three-pointers this season alone.
Yeah, she's a very versatile player. Been a starter for 4 years, so very important player at that point guard position for Oakton.
Definitely. Well, let's move on to our 4th game recap, in which we have the PCSAA Championship, Friendship versus Collegiate versus IDEA.
Yep, the Charter Championship saw a little bit of renewed interest this year as we saw some transfers come into the Charter Division with Alani Moore, Justin Milstead for IDEA, and these 2 teams were 2 of the best teams in DC all year. But you look at Alani Moore, that was the difference in this game, 30 points from him, and he just took it over down the stretch. Him and Keon Queen really have a good connection, point guard and forward relationship. He feeds him all the time, and Alani's made a couple threes there, as you saw. Justin Milstead and Stefan Fisher led the way for IDEA and kept the game close. But luckily for IDEA, this game is being played again here in just a couple days. Alani scored 37 against St. John's in a win for Friendship last night against the defending WCAC championship. So we're going to see this game one more time before the season's done.
Well, I guess they have another chance then.
Yeah, one more.
Sounds good. Well, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, it is time for our AllMet.com weekly fast forward. But first, we're going to take a look at DMVSTREAM.com partnership with the newly formed LAX Network, a 24-hour network dedicated solely to the sport of lacrosse.
What's up, lacrosse fans? I'm excited to announce our new partnership with LaxSportsNetwork.com, a 24-hour digital media network dedicated to covering the game of lacrosse, delivering thousands of hours of original programming, including live professional, collegiate, and amateur games. Now, those of you that already know about Synthesis Multimedia Productions and our platform at DMVStream.com, you know that our group has become the Mid-Atlantic's dominant force in providing live streaming of pro, college, and local high school sports. Now, in this new partnership with LaxSportsNetwork.com, we'll be bringing you, the viewers, unprecedented live coverage of the Mid-Atlantic's most notable high school lacrosse programs, with matchups that include teams like Gonzaga, Georgetown Prep, Landon, Loyola Blakefield, McDonough, Boys Latin, Hill Academy, St. Paul's School, Culver, New Canaan, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, Collegiate School, and the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Championship live from the University of Maryland. Now, in this series of 10 games, starting in early March, you can watch the best matchups live in HD with the state-of-the-art broadcast technology you've come to expect from us at Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVStream.com. Broadcasts will include a minimum of 5 HD camera angles, graphics, instant replay, live clock, live scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and a 15-person crew, including directors, producers, camera operators, play-by-play color, and sideline reporters, all dedicated to creating a television-style broadcast experience that you can watch live right in the palm of your hand. To find out more about this project, go to LaxSportsNetwork.com and start watching lacrosse right now.
And we're back in the prep zone. Darcy Tharp here with Nick Eilerson and Brandon Roth. And it is time for the AllMetSports.com weekly fast forward. We're going to preview first the Virginia 6A and 5A boys state tournament. Nick?
Yeah, let's start with the 6A tournament. So the quarterfinals are this Friday and Saturday. And then next week, the winners will advance to the semifinals down to the Siegel Center. Should be some exciting basketball between Virginia Public Schools. We got Battlefield going up against a Cosby team that has its hands full. It's a favorable matchup for Battlefield since Cosby's coming off a 70-43 loss to Oscar Smith, and they barely beat Clover Hill. Clover Hill actually got beat by Hilton by more than 40 points. So I think Battlefield's got the upper hand in that one. Oscar Smith is going to go up against West Springfield, which finished in third place in the 6A North region, getting revenge against its Conference 7 rival, West Potomac. So that should be an interesting matchup against the Virginia Beach team as well. West Potomac will get Woodside. They've got their hands full with that game. Woodside's a 6A South champion in both boys and girls, so they're playing really good basketball on both sides there. That's going to be tough for West Potomac against that top seed. And then Westfield against Hilton will be an intriguing local matchup in the first round of the 6A the 6A tournament. So Jerry Carter for Hilton has been playing really well lately. He struggled for much of this season, but he's their most versatile player. He's really turned it on in the playoffs here. So if he keeps playing well, Hilton's got enough depth to where they could pull an upset over Westfield, which is seeking its first state title after coming up just short last year in the state championship game. So Westfield's going to be very hungry, not only to avenge their region championship loss to Battlefield, but to, like I said, avenge last year's loss in the state tournament. So should be interesting in the 6A. I didn't even talk about 5A, but I don't even know if I have time. Real quick, Potomac is the top seed in 5A. They're playing against Norview, a Virginia Beach team. Panthers definitely heavily favored in that one. They just defended their region title, beating Wakefield. They've got a bunch of good players: Jamal Washington, Jeff Gordon, not the NASCAR legend, a different guy. LC Bird is the top seed on the other side of the bracket. They're going up against Potomac Falls. That's going to be really tough for Potomac Falls because LC Bird is just a power down in Richmond, and they're a top seed playing really good basketball. And then Wakefield will get Deep Run, another Richmond team that doesn't have as strong of a basketball tradition, but is playing very well this year, so I expect that one to be fairly close too.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Nick. We'll see what happens. We have a lot of interesting games coming up.
Yeah, thanks.
So our Tyler Burum had a chance to sit down with Matt Breslin from Winners Lacrosse to talk about upcoming DC Lacrosse Classic. And we will take a quick look at that.
Welcome back inside the Prep Zone. I'm Tyler Byram alongside with Matt Breslin. So, Matt, what was Winners Lacrosse's reasoning for starting the DC Classic?
Well, initially we wanted to start the DC Classic as sort of a celebration of lacrosse in DC. The sport has come so far in the last number of years, and we wanted to get all the teams from DC, all the high school teams from DC, playing together on the same day at the same location. We also wanted to use it as people started to come and people started to enjoy the event. We wanted to start raising money for Winners Lacrosse. Winners Lacrosse is completely free for all of our kids, so we rely on donations and of equipment and financial to really run our program. This year, we're really excited about. We teamed up with Play for the Cure, which is the sports fundraising platform for the National Foundation of Cancer Research, to sort of join forces to kind of bring a little bit more oomph to the event, get a little bit more recognition for the event, and get more people there to support not only our two organizations, but most importantly, DC Lacrosse.
And it's not that expensive either. I mean, adults' prices are $5, children are free. Of course, if you want to come and donate, you can do as much as you want to. So, next question, what is the process for selecting your teams?
So we talk to all the teams in DC that have all the high school programs in DC and see if they want to come. Basically, this is our 8th year on the boys' side. We've had anywhere from 8 to 10 teams each year. This is the second year of having a girls side as well. And last year and this year we had 6 teams both seasons.
Hello everybody, Jackie Sagar here to unveil the DMVSTREAM.COM Play of the Week, which comes from Middleburg, Virginia. With the Middleburg Dragons down with 1.6 seconds left, AJ Robinson takes the inbound and heaves the shot from near half court, draining it right before the buzzer sounds to give the Dragons the dramatic 70-68 victory. If you want to see your Play of the Week on our show, be sure to tweet us at DMVStream. Hello everybody, Jackie Sagar here to unveil the DMVStream.COM Athlete of the Week, which comes from the hardwood, as Loudoun Valley's Nick Ball turned in an all-around performance with 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, as Loudoun Valley beat Champ 95-74 to win the Virginia 4A West Region Championship. If you want to be the DMV Stream Athlete of the Week, be sure to tweet us at DMVStream.
And welcome back to the PrepZone at DMVSTREAM.com. Darcy Tharp here, joined by Nick Eilerson from the Washington Post and Brandon Roth from DMV Elite. As we continue our AllMetSports.com weekly Fast Forward, we have the Maryland Private Schools Tournament preview. Brandon, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you got DeMatha's first chance to get a little bit of revenge after the WCAC championship. I know they've got to be coming off that loss a little bitter, and I have a feeling they're going to take it out on this field. You see a lot of other good teams on the field. McNamara's a solid squad, Prep, Riverdale Baptist, Scaretti. So you see some of Maryland's best private school teams. Honestly, there's few teams that DeMatha only hasn't beaten on that list. So I look at McNamara as probably being the one team that can really give them run for their money. Jameer Moultrie is as good a scorer as anyone in the area. He can definitely get to the rim and put the basket in the bottom of the hoop. He's going to carry McNamara as far as they're going to go in this tournament. They've lost to DeMatha twice this season, so I don't know exactly how great that's going to go. If I had to look at one sleeper on the bracket, Bullis would probably be my sleeper. They've been strong lately. Kyrie Walker has really picked up his play, and Vado Morse has been a solid point guard off the bench after they've had an injury earlier in the year. So Bullis would be the one team I would look at, probably saying that they could be a sleeper. But other than that, it looks like it's DeMatha's bracket to lose.
Sounds good.
You got Markel there too. Obviously, with Markel, anytime you got him on your team, a guy that's capable of being the AllMet Player of the Year, you've got a good chance to win any game you're in.
Thank you, Brandon. We'll look forward to seeing if your predictions come true. So next up, we have the Virginia 6A and 5A Girls State Tournament.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes, lots of fun girls teams in this one. We mentioned we talked about Oakton a lot earlier. Like we said, they're the heavy favorites, undefeated so far. Mentioned Alex Marquis earlier. They've got an interesting matchup with their guard play going up against Woodbridge in this first round. Not a lot of people know much about Woodbridge, but they've got an excellent backcourt out of Prince William County with Asia McCants, Paris McBride, Hannah Oliver can really shoot it. So that should be an interesting matchup to watch there. Langley, I think I see them as a bit of a dark horse. They only lost to Oakton by 3 points earlier this season. They're the Conference 6 champions. Paige Galliani is one of the most versatile players in the region, or the area, I should say. She's a senior guard, really good player. Herndon is, what a turnaround for that program. They were not very good the past few years. I believe they had a losing season last year, but here they are in the state tournament. So great turnaround for Herndon, going up against a tough Woodside team in the 6A South champions. And Fairfax, you got Coach Pat Deegan, the legendary longtime Northern Virginia coach who returned last year, really helped bring Fairfax to new heights. He did inherit a lot of talent, but he's done a great job with that program. They're going up against Cosby. That's going to be a really fun matchup because Cosby won both of the past two state tournaments, I believe. So they're loaded. They graduated a couple good players, but they've got Tyra Whitehead and Jocelyn Jones as a UNC commit. So Cosby, just a very, very tough power out of Richmond there. So that should be an intriguing matchup in the first round as well. In the 5A South, you see Jada Graves right there. She might be the best player in the area. They just are coming off their fourth straight 5A North Region title. Edison is tired of these region championships. They want to get that state title. They haven't won one since 1978, and they continue to get knocked out at the state level. So they're looking to change that with Jada Graves and a lot of really good seniors. There you see them right there celebrating their fourth straight region championship. So it should be interesting to see if they can get past Elsie Bird. Pretty good team right there. And then they got Highland Springs going up against Tuscarora in the first round. That should be a tough game for Tuscarora, coming off a loss in the region at the regional level to Edison. So Potomac is another. And last team I'll mention is Potomac in the 5A. They had their best player go down with a season-ending injury, Demia Felder, back in January, but they've really bounced back. And Amani Wheeler has stepped up big time and just helped that team continue its winning ways. And she's been distributing, scoring, doing a little bit of everything to help fill in for that injury. And Potomac is a team to watch out for in the 5A level as well. So A lot of good teams there.
So Nick, if you had to choose, I'm going to put you on the spot here, to beat Oakton, since they're obviously still the favorites, but if you had to choose one.
Yeah. Like I said, Langley's a good dark horse, but I wouldn't expect them to beat Oakton. I think Cosby is really going to be the challenger there in the 6A against Oakton. That could be, I can't remember if I think they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so that could be a potential championship matchup right there. I think that's the most realistic shot at beating Oakton would be Cosby.
Sounds good. Well, we look forward to seeing if that happens. We have a lot of fantastic games coming up, and that is it for us at the Prep Zone. Darcy Tharp here with Nick Eilerson from the Washington Post and Brandon Roth. Oh, and we also have our top 10 rankings. Who would you say would be your favorite out of those?
Oh, man, it's a tough one. I like H.D. Woodson, honestly. They have an easier schedule that St. John's just lost to Friendship Collegiate. They're going to play Gonzaga coming up, which is, they could lose that game definitely, but if they win that one, they'll get to play the winner of Idea and Friendship. So I like their chances of maybe holding on to that number 1 spot.
I like H.D. Woodson too. I mean, they had a lot of haters coming at them this year, complaining about them being at the top of our rankings all season. Not all season, but in recent weeks. And each week they prove everybody wrong. They just keep on winning. They've got a very nice, talented, deep team. So I think they'll keep up their winning ways, stay undefeated.
Sounds great. Well, H.D. Woodson it is. Well, thank you for watching the Prep Zone at DMVSTREAM.com. You can download us online at DMVSTREAM.com after the show. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next week.